Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
Release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past and how we are going to countermand missing children and exploited children going forward.
Just last week, the president's excellent pick for FBI Director Kash Patel vowed to work with me in releasing the Epstein records and breaking apart the trafficking rings that harm countless women and children across our country.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. All this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York.
Yep.
So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Kash is going to get me and himself, really, a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld. It's a new administration, and everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
I know the Attorney General has committed to releasing those files. I would defer you to the Department of Justice on her timeline, but when she has made a promise in the past, she has kept it, and I'm certain that she will in this case as well.
Welcome back, everybody. 20 minutes to the top of the hour. Case closed. The Justice Department revealing Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide and insists there is no secret client list out there.
Tonight, I say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
I was dating Jeffrey. He was always talking about Donald. It was his bestie and everything. And he was joking about how Donald thought I was hot and Donald...
Folk, this is where everything finally flips. This is the moment Trump never thought he'd live to see. Because the very people who once stood in line for him are now filming themselves burning their MAGA hats, ripping their Trump shirts, and telling him straight to his face that they're done. Done with the lies. Done with the betrayal. Done with covering up a child sex trafficking ring. Done with being told everything is a golden age while they can't afford groceries, rent, gas, or even basic health care. These aren't Democrats. These aren't liberals. These are the same people who cheered for him in 2016, who camped out overnight just to see him in Topeka, Kansas. And now they're calling him a piece of shit and lighting his movement on fire. Literally. One of the videos going viral right now shows a former diehard MAGA dad standing in his backyard. He holds up his old red hat, the one his son gave him during Trump's first run, and he says, "You sure as hell ain't making America proud right now." Then he burns it. No hesitation. No turning back.
All right, so this is a Trump 2020 hat. And if you're just going to be owned by the Jews and go against everybody that actually is America first,
and cover for
pedophiles, then you can fuck off, Trump. You're losing people quick. What else do we got? We got some hoodies.
We're burning those in the big fire.
Oh, we're going to put those in the big fire?
Yeah, those are two polyester.
Got a Ultra MAGA shirt. We've got tons of flags. We got way more hats.
We don't have the flags anymore. I threw those away.
Oh, you threw the flags away already? Good. Oh yeah, there's some good kindling.
Yeah,
these are from the very first Trump rally we ever went to in 2017 when he came to Topeka, Kansas, and did a rally for Chris Kobach.
Here is where things get crazy. Trump declared Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor for demanding the release of the Epstein files. She said, "Stop covering it up." He couldn't handle that. He snapped. And now she's getting death threats because of his attacks. And as you all can see, things are not going well for him at all. Because the story he once built, the lie he repeated for years, is now collapsing right in front of his own eyes. And if you remember, Trump has spent his entire career swearing up and down that he barely knew Epstein, that they were never friends, that he had nothing to do with him, right? But just wait until you see this next part, because Stacey Williams, Epstein's former girlfriend, just came out and exposed the truth about how close Trump and Epstein really were. And after hearing what she reveals, you'll understand exactly why Trump is panicking now.
I was dating Jeffrey. He was always talking about Donald. It was his bestie and everything. And he was joking about how Donald thought I was hot and Donald thinks I'm this or whatever, you know, wants to talk to you. And he was telling me this as we were taking a walk down Fifth Avenue one day. And he said, let's stop in and see him at his offices. So we went up to his office in Trump Tower. And within a couple of minutes, Donald was outside of his door, and his hands were all over me. They were on my breasts, they were on my butt, they were on, you know, my hips, up and down, while the two of them just kept having a normal conversation. I don't remember exactly what was in the conversation. Again, this was, you know, we're talking 90, this is 93 now. It was something about, it was irrelevant. It was like, oh, Stacey's career's on fire. She just did Sports Illustrated again, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they were back and forth, smiling and grinning and carrying on a conversation while Donald ran his hands all over me. And, you know, when that happens in broad daylight in someone's office and an assistant's walking back and forth, you're in shock. If it happens in a dark alleyway, right, you defend yourself. But when it's hidden in its brazenness like that, which is Donald Trump's forte, you know, you go into shock. So I froze, and it was over and very quickly. It was a few minutes, and then we got back in the elevator, and Jeffrey's energy had changed. He was like seething. He was enraged. He wouldn't make eye contact with me. And then we got out on the street on Fifth Avenue. And he looked at me and he just started yelling at me, saying, why did you let him do that? And he was so enraged. And then I remember thinking, like, why did I? I felt like I was coming back into my body at that moment. And I was confused.
And the scariest part for Trump is this. Every single member of the Senate, Republicans, Democrats, all of them, has now turned on him and is demanding to see the Epstein files. The pressure is so intense that even Robert Garcia is speaking with a level of confidence that tells you everything. He's not treating this like a maybe or a possibility. He's talking like it's their duty to finally expose the truth, to see whether Trump's name is on that list or not. And trust me, the way he says it, it sounds like they already know the answer.
Look, we are going to get to the truth, regardless of whatever efforts Donald Trump tries to put in place. And clearly right now he is panicking. And it's crazy that he's putting out this new investigation through Pam Bondi to go after Democrats when there have been hundreds and hundreds of FBI agents and other law enforcement officials that actually have compiled the files through an investigation that right now are sitting on the Attorney General's desk, according to her. It is outrageous that right now the president knows that he alone has the power to release all the files immediately. There are women, hundreds of women, that have suffered abuse, rape. Many of them were children at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And Donald Trump could help bring them justice, but refuses to even acknowledge their survivors. And the fact that he's considering a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell, Donald Trump has backed into a corner. We're going to get the files regardless of what he tries to do.
And where's Trump while all this chaos is unfolding? On the taxpayer dime, he's in Mar-a-Lago, again, golfing, laughing, posting fake victories on Truth Social about how companies have invested trillions and America is in a golden age, while Americans are choosing between rent and groceries. And who's he golfing with? Lindsey Graham, the one man MAGA hates more than anyone except maybe Mitch McConnell. Lindsey Graham, the king of empty promises, the original rhino, standing there smiling like a child next to Trump, while Trump publicly destroys MTG and Massie, the only two Republicans actually standing against the Epstein cover-up. And then Trump did something even more disgusting. He attacked Thomas Massie's marriage. Massie's wife of 34 years passed away unexpectedly. He remarried years later. Trump, who's been married 3 times, accused of sexual assault, caught bragging about grabbing women because he's rich, mocked Massie's marriages on Truth Social. He implied that Massie's personal tragedy made him unreliable. And then watch Massie's response.
To happen. I would remind my Republican colleagues who are deciding how to vote, Donald Trump can protect you in red districts right now by giving you an endorsement, but in 2030, he's not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then. This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump.
And with all of this exploding at once, Trump is now on his third straight day sprinting away from every camera he sees, dodging reporters, refusing questions, and running from every network that dares mention Epstein. He won't sit for interviews, won't face the press, won't answer a single thing. He's not leading, he's hiding. Even Candace Owens, one of his loudest defenders, said she's embarrassed she ever told people to vote for him. She said he's been a chronic disappointment and that this is not the man she voted for. Tim Dillon, another former supporter, said Trump is at the beginning of a full-scale lame duck presidency, that this is the end of the Trump era, that even his own allies walk into the White House now wondering what the hell is going on.
Are you done with Donald Trump, or could you see a way that you would end up perhaps voting for him? Oh, you can't run again, obviously, but would you support him publicly again?
So I want to be clear. I don't regret voting for Donald Trump above Kamala. I think he was the better candidate, certainly a better candidate above Joe Biden. But what I will say is that he's been a chronic disappointment. And I feel embarrassed that I told people to go vote for him because this wasn't going to happen and it is happening. But I just think that the picture of politics in America is going to look very differently because of his actions. So I don't know where we go from here. I really don't. But this is not the candidate that I voted for.
And to top it off, Trump's posting insane attacks on Seth Meyers, whining that a comedian hurt his feelings. That's where the leader of the free world is right now, crying online while his own movement burns their hats and walks away. Senator Brian Schatz said it perfectly. If you mock these MAGA people now admitting Trump betrayed them, you don't understand politics. This is addition, not subtraction. For the first time ever, MAGA is cracking from the inside. This is the collapse Trump never prepared for, and it's happening fast.